Where are all the sales, Paige? I really have no idea. I wish I knew.
Onefootflipper.
Hey, let's do a few sales. I've actually been selling some stuff on District lately, on Dibdit, and mostly on Commons, and I now have a code. If you go over to District and use code OneFoot on your first purchase, you'll get $5 off. So why don't you do it? You don't have to let Kevin and Dave get all the money. You can let me get just a little bit of it, you know? Spread it out. I sold this Daily Wire. It's an aluminum mug with a political message on it. I'm not political, so I'm not going to show the message. For the Classic Traveler RPG, it's an adventure. It's $18.63. Somebody had a save search for this because this sold in about 20 minutes. A Magic the Gathering Theros binder. This is the set that came out about 10 years ago. Sold for $18. It does have a few pages of Beanie Baby cards in it. This was my daughter's. Sold for $18 in about 20 minutes. It's the sort of thing you could have never known. I also could have put that up for $18 and it could have sat for 3 years and finally sold for $5. Guess somebody was waiting for one to show up. A single plastic Warhammer figure, a Tau Cadre Fireblade, sold for $11.58. It's very rare for the plastic ones to have any significant value. Usually you sell those in bulk. I sold some styrofoam for $58.19. This is a styrofoam football pitch for an early version of the Blood Bowl tabletop game. I sold Flink for the Sega CD, $75. Finally took an offer on it. This started at over $100, cheapest on eBay. Comps at that price, but video games, not that great. Prices are continually dropping on most of them. And finally got the offer for $75. And the person clicked on the promoted listing, even though it's a rare and expensive game. Thanks for clicking on the promoted listing. This sold in an hour. Sonic CD for the Sega CD, disc only, $30. I don't have a Sega CD to check that, but you can install a Sega CD emulator on your computer that will run the disc directly off of the computer drive. Thus, you can check them that way. I sold 50 Pokemon dice bags / party favor bags for $16 plus shipping. And that's all I got here for now. I'm going to be bulking out, I think, most of my Christmas ornaments. I think I have 10 different SKUs of customizable Christmas ornaments that you put people's names on. I think I'm going to get that down to 2 SKUs. I'll be bulking out my other varieties on District Commons just because they're taking up too much space. If you I have less storage space than the vast majority of eBay sellers out there. So I'm going to bulk out some of my other SKUs, just keep 2 SKUs, and let somebody else with a little more space make a whole lot of money off those over the years. All right, let's get back to the rest of it. All right, let's do some sales. Last weekend was wonderful. The day after, not so much. I sold this Retron 5 multi-console. This plays Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, Nintendo, Famicom, and it's got a slot in front for Game Boy games, and it's got 1 controller, plugins. This is a personal item I bought back when I thought I wanted to collect physical video games, and I changed my mind, and I only ever used this thing a few times. I'm going to have to stick all the prices up on the screen in editing because I didn't bring my phone down here with me. I sold this Pokemon. This is a poster or a book cover because it's got instructions on back too on how to make it into a book cover. I've got quantity on these. They can ship standard envelope. They just ship folded up in an envelope for 99 cents plus whatever I charge the customer. Got this from my friend Peter, Cranston Snords Irregular for Battletech. Peter only gives me high value easy listers, so he gets the highest payout percentage of anybody I do consignment for. So put some money on Peter's spreadsheet. He's one of the few ones that definitely makes more out of each transaction than I do because there's just no work on that stuff. Sealed McAfee Firewall from about the year 2000. Here's the thing. Did a software collector buy this, or did somebody buy this who thinks it's gonna work on their Windows 11 computer? Could go either way. I'm sure I'll find out in about a week. Alright, been a slow day. That's all the sales I've had for today. And I've mostly been listing slow list stuff too. Julie's decided to give up on most of her childhood toys, or at least all the ones that are stored in the attic. So that stuff just keeps coming down, and I've got to keep processing that stuff. And there's real money. There's money there, but it's not good, and none of that stuff is a fast seller. So I'm waiting here to pick the kid up from school. She's got an orthodontist appointment. I've never picked her up from this school before, so I hope I'm in the right place. There's a whole bunch of other parents in cars, so let's hope this is the right place. I saw today Philly Flipper posted a channel update. The reason I'm mentioning this is because several people asked me if my last video about knowing when to quit had anything to do with Philly Flipper. Not really, but I had seen his previous video in which he was kind of upset with the status of how YouTube was going and how he wanted to focus more on whatnot. And that's absolutely fine. And he posted a nice update today about how all that's going. And you know what? I support him in all of that, despite the fact he's doing exactly the opposite of what I would want to do. Because I feel like Paul is, if he's not in the top 10 of reselling content creators, then he's definitely in the top 20. I wish I was at his level, but he's opting to step back from that and to focus on whatnot for his own well-being and mental health. And hey, Paul, if that's what you need to do, that's great, and I support you in that 100%. I'd rather do the opposite. I would rather build my YouTube as big as possible, because YouTube doesn't have a ceiling. Whatnot has a ceiling. eBay has a ceiling. There's only so many things you can, you know, find, source, and sell per hour until you start having employees. But then it still slows down in profitability once you get employees. But there isn't truly a limit as to how many YouTube views a person can get. There seems to be a soft limit to the category at any given time, as, you know, however many subscribers Harry Tornado has is probably the current sub cap for the category. But guess what? He gets more subs every month, which means that sub cap goes up every month. There are garage sale videos that have millions of views, which means that any garage sale video can get millions of views. There are non-garage sale reselling videos out there that have hundreds of thousands, which means that that cap as to what that content can reach is in the hundreds of thousands. I've got one, I think, that's got 75 or 80,000 on it, and you know, my channel has only been around, is not yet in its third year. I decided that September started season 3, but really I'm only 1 year and 9 months into my channel. Still haven't met my sub goal yet, though. Wanted to catch Old School Picker. I'm so close. I'm like 200 subs off, but I am completely stagnant in subs. You know, I'm going up at the slowest possible rate, like 20 per month. Well, my D&D channel is doing incredible. I mean, not the same numbers, but as far as how many subs it's picking up per week and how many views it's getting per sub is incredible. And that's also a space with a much larger cap to it. I doubt that'll ever take over from the eBay, but it is something I'm doing a little bit of work on. Went out and did a bit of shopping on Saturday. Managed to hit flea market, several garage sales, a church sale, and then a specialty gaming only flea market inside of a game store. And this stuff just happened to all be clustered together. Metabubbles and I only went out to hit the flea market. We didn't realize that other stuff was all clustered together until we got done in the flea market and looked at where to go next. And when I went into the flea market, I actually took something I learned from ADH Dave. Yes, you actually can learn something from him. And he had kind of said to, you know, you can kind of ignore the booths that are all the same thing. The prices are going to be high, those people are going to know what they got, and the deals aren't going to be found there. And I ignored the specialty booths there. We were done in a half hour to 45 minutes, and most of that was just the fact that Chad had to carry, Metabubbles. Most of that was that Metabubbles had to carry my buys back up and out to the car 3 times. I got a lot of stuff there. I got over 300 new sports shirts that I paid, I believe, $140 for. Got a Technics space shuttle. Got a beautiful set of taillights to an '84 Oldsmobile. Several other smaller things. I'm going to do great from that. Then hit a few garage sales on the way to the church sale. Didn't end up buying anything at them, but you know, the garage sales had already been up for hours and hours at that point. Church sale, however, worst church sale I have ever seen. I really feel sorry for I feel sorry for the church, because whoever was in charge of the sale led them wrong. I'm not going to mention the name of the church, but it was one of the newer type of church buildings that doesn't have pews. Almost the entire building is, you know, a single room in which they put out chairs for services or take the chairs away if they're doing something else. And they had that entire thing packed to the gills with merchandise, but the prices were insane. Everything I picked up that I thought I might spend $2 on, $3 on, whatever, had a $10 or a $25 price tag on it. There was a bunch of board games in one area. I looked, the sort of board games that I would throw directly into the garbage if I got them in a lot, those were $6. And there weren't any of the kind I'd actually buy. I literally walked out of the place, or rolled out of there, empty-handed, other than a flyer on a political issue that they gave me on my way out the door. And nobody else was buying either. There was probably 20 volunteers there and 6 customers, and I didn't see anybody buy a thing. I don't know how they're going to get all that stuff cleared out, how they got all the stuff cleared out to have service the next day. But then went to the gaming flea market. I dropped some big dollars there on Warhammer stuff. It's not going to be the kind of stuff that's going to be 10x or even 3x. But I dropped some money on some stuff, some expensive items that will be minimal labor, that will still clear me a lot. I'll try to put up some photos here. I got this Tau shield wall assortment. This is hard to price out. I paid $300 on it. The individual pieces are quite valuable, and the paint job on this is incredible. I'm probably not going to try to part it out since they're all painted to match. I'm probably just going to start that one at $800 and work my way down and eventually take an offer on it. And I got several smaller boxed things that I know have going rates and are going to clear me between $20 and $50 each, even if I paid $100 on them. After fees, it'll clear me between $20 and $50, and I will make money on it. Found a box of low wall terrain that I wanted for my D&D channel, which is perfect. And yeah, but that's all my picking for the day. I'm still changing things up to taking my pictures upstairs again, having to rebuild my photo station to be up there. I kind of got a sidetrack today. I meant to have that done today, but ever since I've been self-employed, the tendency to wake up too late, and if I literally have anything that I have to do that day, it tends to sabotage the whole day. Like the fact that I have to pick my daughter up from school and take her to an orthodontist appointment, that sabotages the whole day for me. I don't know why, but I found my parents are the same way now that they're retired. If they've got anything scheduled, it seems like it takes their whole day. And in-laws, same way. Alright, let's get on to some sales or something more interesting than me babbling in a hot Jeep waiting for my kid to get out of school. So my prosthetic leg just broke. I think I've only had it since March. Only finally got the height dialed in correctly because it was too tall, so I'd have them shorten it a tiny bit. I'd use it for 3 weeks, have them shorten it again. Finally got that dialed in correctly, and now the whole thing has failed. Can't even engage the safety mode so I can peg leg it. Isn't that wonderful? So I'm waiting for a loaner while they try to repair that. Let's look at some sales. I sold a lot of 4 Tom Clancy games for the PlayStation 2. Big $13.50 plus shipping. 8 video games. Complete set of cards for the Lord of the Rings Risk board game. $4.76. Half these sales are upstairs, so there'll be a separate video for that, or a separate segment for that. I sold 3 personalized name ornaments, Gans brand. They just wanted blanks, so we will give them blanks or blank those out. I have all kinds of personalized name ornaments in my store. Why don't you order them now instead of making me and my wife rush to get them all done at Christmas time? Sold one of my 2 remaining golf clubs. 1209, a 3DX 30X wood. A Donkey Kong 64 box and manual that has visibly been crushed in the past. $48.50. Nintendo 64 collectors are ridiculous. Phil Collins, no jacket required, $5.48. Which one of these things would you rather display? This or this? Even if it's this, is it this at 10 times the price? You tell me. And I sold this Magic the Gathering Baldur's Gate Commander Legends collector booster box for $192. Sold that on TCG Player. That's all for now. Let's get on to the next segment. Alright, so things are changing around my house. My new prosthetic leg is now broken. Fully broken. Not even the safety mode will engage where I can peg leg it, so I can't leave the house. That's fun. On the other hand, suddenly my wife is taking it upon herself to actually get our attic cleaned up. See, we have a very small house, but it has a fully finished attic with a nice full stairway going up to it, and that was previously our full-size normal living room. But I couldn't get up there at first when I came home from the hospital, and it just started collecting junk and just ended up just getting packed with storage junk, Julie's old toys, things we didn't know what else to do with, and it's been that way for 4+ years now. Ugh. And it's been that way for 4+ years now. But suddenly, last week, she started wanting to work on it. And it's almost to full functionality. Which means I've been getting all this weird stuff coming down, mostly Julie's toys, to try to list and sort through and sell. Had a bunch of stereos in there that I had been overlooking for a very long time. And you know what? They were all dirty. They all smelled bad. I just put them out at the curb. And one of my neighbors came and hauled them away. So glad he'll get them. I didn't want to deal with them. There were no real bolos in there. It was just a bunch of older 80s and 90s pieces of stereo equipment that were all dirty and that all smelled bad. They all worked though, but I didn't want to deal with it and hadn't dealt with it for a year and a half, so let my neighbor Rick have them. Rick, if you're watching, enjoy your stereos. Alright, I guess let's... Oh. But the bonus of this is I'm finally going to get you to go back to what worked best for me, which is listing everything upstairs and storing and packing everything downstairs. When I was trying to do both listing downstairs and packing downstairs, I found that I wasn't getting anything done. I was using every excuse in the world to not go downstairs because I don't want to go downstairs. It's cold down here. I'm away from my, much further away from my family and things like the refrigerator and the bathroom and everything else, and thus I only come down here if I have to come down here. So it works. Now that my family's not trying to split a tiny piece of our front room to be a living room, I've got big shelves back up in there again, so I can process all my incoming, list it all, then it can all come downstairs and be packed away. I have no problem coming down here to pack because that has to be done. It's when things don't have to be done is when I procrastinate. Alright, let's look at some sales. This first one is a viewer sale. Yeah, I get them from time to time. The buyer says, "Hey, thanks for the offer. And your show is great too. I'm honored to receive your copy of Barbicle Magical Genie Adventure." Actually bought a whole bag of assorted Game Boy games, different things I didn't think were worth selling on their own for $27 plus shipping. That was by Fantasy Chun Lee. Maybe. Sorry, I don't have his real name up on the screen at the moment, or else I'd say that. So as we were moving things around upstairs, I wanted to clear out a top stack area to put some boxes of ornaments. Which, by the way, if anybody has a lot of room and would like to take on something that's going to take years to pay back, but it's going to give them hundreds of dollars every year, I would like to cut down on the varieties of custom ornaments that I carry. Thus, I'd love to bulk some of those out to somebody else and only maybe carry 2 or 3 varieties myself. I don't want to split any of my varieties, so you're going to get all of a certain variety because I don't want to we don't want to compete with each other. Just both want to make money. I'll put a picture up there. But anyway, whereas I was going with this is that clearing out some top stock, and 3 of the 6 items sitting on the top stock had disappeared off eBay. I had definitely listed the items because, this one was fully boxed with a SKU number written on the side of it. This kind of thing doesn't happen unless the item was completely listed. So I relisted it today. It's a McDonald's Corningware from 1982 for $8, and it sold in about 2 hours. This Warhammer Necromunda Industrial Battle Zone set of wargaming terrain sold for $169.36. That was part of a big buy of 3 valuable box sets for $300. I believe the other two paid for the buy, and that one's going to be the all-profit item. So, not bad. Not a 10X, but I knew it was a sure thing when I bought them. Steppenwolf, for ladies only. Sorry, Kevin. $5.70. Warhammer, Skaven miniatures. Skavens are a little fantasy Ratman. 2-pack. Sold for $11.59. Nicely painted and metal. Starting to run out of those. This is something else I discovered that had fallen off eBay or I had never listed. Discovered this about a month ago. Weiss Force Bang Dream Girls. This is a card matter, a big mouse pad, $14. Sold fairly quickly after it actually got listed or got brought back up. 2020 Hot Wheels. Mystery Models Winning Formula. 2-pack with an extra Hot Wheel thrown in. Sold for $5. Had somebody commenting a lot about how my selling things for $5 and $10 couldn't possibly work, and how I'm perpetuating a cycle of poverty and everything else. And even though I'm in a wheelchair, I should just go get a job at Bank of America for $25 an hour, and that I'd do so much better for my family if I did that. Well, thanks for your comments. I have made more every year full-time reselling than I ever did in my best year ever of full-time employment. And for the past year and a half since I started my channel, I've only been half-time reselling. I haven't been putting in more than 20, 25 hours a week at most. And I still made more. Number two is I don't think this person's ever actually known what it's like to try to find a job when you have any sort of hindrance whatsoever. I experienced just what it was like as a man with a traditionally female name trying to get a job throughout most of my life. It wouldn't seem like it would matter in this day and age, but actually ridiculously hard. You don't get the call, or if you do get the call, they act all weirded out, come up with a reason to end the call. I got pretty much every job I ever had because I knew somebody. The traditional interview process did not work for me because I would never get the interview in the first place. And I imagine the same thing. Sure, Bank of America might be forced to hire handicapped people by law, but the fact is, it's never going to be me. Somebody else is always going to... I don't have a college degree. Don't tell me that out of everybody applying for that $25 an hour teller job or whatever it is, don't tell me that there won't be one college degree in there. There will. Never going to get that job. And I don't want it. I like to work for myself. I love to work for myself. I don't work well with other people. I don't even work well with my own wife, much less other people or a bank manager. Sold 4 packs of card sleeves, $9.54. And as far as the cycle of poverty goes, my house is paid for. My cars are paid for. We don't have any debt. I'm not going to say what we're worth, but we're worth more than my parents, and I think we're worth more than her parents as well. So, and most all my friends still have 10, 20 plus years left in their mortgage, and they're all making car payments, so I'm not sure really who's poor here. Oh, not making fun of you, by the way, friends. I am a little bit jealous of those new Lexuses and Teslas and whatever, but I don't want to make a payment. I'd rather buy it in cash. Talisman 1659 board game expansion. That buy long paid for itself. This obviously was a my wife item, $471, some little tea saucer. She pulled the wrong one. Nope, she didn't pull the wrong one. It just looked different in the picture. That eBay magic photo picture can make things look a little different. Starbucks cup, $14.11. It's got a little pink glitter in the handle. That would be my wife or my daughter. I don't look at glass. I hate glass. New Generation of Manga Artists, Volume 1 and 2. Sold $11.64 as a lot. And is that all? That is all the sales for now. So we'll get back to the topic of the video. If this video even has a topic. We don't know. Oh, look, I solved a problem for myself. Wanted to know what I should do with that Squishmallow over there, but it was a Costco one, so it was only 12 bucks to begin with, but I managed to get it all dirty. So now I don't have to worry about selling it anymore. I can just give it to Goodwill. We've been giving a lot of stuff to Goodwill in the past few days since we started clearing out that attic. A lot of stuff.
See, that's One Foot Flipper's nonsense video.